Hello and welcome to the featured news for 30th June 2021. My name is Harsh Singh, and in this article we will understand about BharatNet Project. Now this is the featured news for today. The other article will cover, the other video will cover all the other articles for 30th June Gazette. Right, so this is the first video in the sequence. We have two videos for you today. Now BharatNet Project. Now the update is that government has provided more finances, more money in the project for its faster implementation, right? So let us firstly look at this project. What is it about? Now, Bharat Broadband Network Ltd, this is the organization which is implementing BharatNet project, and it has got three important missions. The three important missions, I have put it right from the website here, right? First of all, it has to connect the rural India. So first thing is connect the rural India at affordable prices. So high-speed digital connectivity at affordable prices. This is point number one. The second one is that these services have to be provided in a non-discriminatory manner. That means all the organizations which are providing service, for example, if there is Airtel and Jio and other Vodafone, etc., they all will be given this opportunity to provide services to rural India in a non-discriminatory manner. We will know why. Because everybody participated in funding this project indirectly, right? So the third part is facilitate proliferation of broadband services in rural areas. Proliferation means expand. So the idea is to expand the service in all the avenues in rural areas, right? Which all avenues? For example, e-governance, e-health, e-education, right? And all the related services. For example, e-commerce as well, right? So these are the various services that can be provided. So the three important components you should know is high-speed connectivity to rural areas. Second, non-discriminatory manner treatment, right? And the third is proliferation in the rural areas. So this is what this project is about, and this is under Digital India Initiative. So now another question, what is Digital India Initiative? So here we understand that Digital India has three important missions, right? To provide digital infrastructure. One, the first component is providing digital infrastructure to the whole country, especially the rural areas, and it should be secure and stable. The second one is provide services through this infrastructure, right? The main agenda is to provide services, and the third one is to be able to do this, right? To be able to make people participate, they have to be made digitally literate, right? Now all of these government schemes are only around all these three. The first one being infrastructure creation. For example, BBI, what is this? This BharatNet project is infrastructure, right? Services. So we have these apps. What is this Krishi app? Running as services and literacy. We have had so many discussions on digital literacy, for example, female literacy in rural areas. During the times of COVID, we have had this digital divide. So all what you study will be under these three important headings, right? Especially related to digital economy, right? All right. So this is what this article mainly is about. So we will get the updates right now. Earlier what has happened is that BSNL, PSU under Government of India, and Ministry of Communication and Information Technology, Ministry of Communication. Now please remember, Ministry of Communication and Information Technology and Ministry of Electronics and Communication Technology, they're very much different, right? So please note down, BSNL is operating alongside Ministry of Communication and Information Technology. Similarly, this project, BharatNet project also is working alongside Ministry of Communication and Information Technology, not the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, right? So please note this, important, right? It can be confusing to many. Now, the important thing to note here is that the government has already laid down digital fiber network up till the district and later the subdivision levels, right? That means major areas have already been provided digital connectivity. Now the idea is to expand this digital connectivity to the rural pockets of India, right? So to all gram panchayats, the digital connectivity has to be expanded, and this mission, this project is about expanding the block level connectivity, the already block level connectivity to further decentralized areas, that is the villages and gram panchayats. So India has got around 6.5 lakh villages, and these villages are divided in around 2.5 lakh gram panchayats, right? So from blocks to gram panchayat and later decentralized to other areas. So we already have connection up to the block level. How? Through the help of the BSNL project to digitalize India, right? And this project is to expand it. So this is the first important thing about it, right? So the idea is to have digital first. Now these are some words that you can use: digital throughout, e-education, e-health, as I explained, right? So the aim, as I discussed before, aim is to provide highly scalable network. Highly scalable. What is scalable? Scalable means to be able to expand, to be able to multiply, right? So right now we have projects up to block level, from district to block level, and after block level we need further expansion, because a lot of population of India lives in the rural countryside, right? Therefore we need it to be scalable. It should be able to multiply itself. This should be the technology, right? So to have the vision digital India in progress, we need to have e-health, e-education, e-banking services. All these services are very much required in the rural areas as well, right? Now, did you imagine 10 years back, transferring money online? No, we had to go to the banks. All this thing is happening online right now. So this service has to be expanded to rural areas as well, right? Not only these, imagine commerce. We go to shops to purchase, but now we are purchasing online. There was skepticism earlier. People doubted, can we purchase the goods? Will they be returning policy? But yes, everything is available. Now this has to be given to the rural areas as well, right? So this is an important aspect of it, and this has to be done, right? Now, how is it utilizing this capacity? As I mentioned that it is BSNL's already established optical fiber network, OFN, which has to be utilized to further decentralize the network, right? And what is dark fiber? See, a lot of fiber have already been laid, right? Fiber which will be used for this important data travel, right? It has already been laid, but the one which is not being used right now, that is called as dark fiber. All right, okay. Access will be provided to all the service providers, as I mentioned. Funding, now access will be provided to all of them because they have already contributed in the USOF. USOF is Universal Service Obligation Fund. This was the fund under which the rural digitalization is happening, right? What is the technology? The technology is such that a single fiber will be transmitted to these areas, and they will further be utilized to provide multiple services. So the technology is called as GPON, Gigabyte Passive Optical Network Technology. Just for your information, right? You don't need to remember all this. But once this word comes in the exam, you should be able to relate it to Digital India, right? And this particular scheme, right? Now there is something called as right of way. What is right of way? See, every time we see the road is constructed and then it is dug up for some or the other construction activity, right? And then the road is again laid down again, and then it is dug up again. Now why is it dug up? Why the digging does not happen once in 5 years when the road is constructed? It is because of rights of way. Now every time water has to be channelized through the drainage system, the road is dug up. Then what about electricity lines? If they have to be made underground, the road is again dug up. Then digital connectivity, if this whole system optical fiber has to be laid down, road is dug up. This is being dug up every time because they all have right of way. So they have the right to travel through through all these spaces, and this is what is called as right of way, right? Now here we explain in the Gazette, we explain how this project was implemented through various phases: phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3. All it talks about is how the decentralization through this project, digitization in rural areas, happened. Okay, now, and what is the progress of this project? Now the progress is such that many areas which had some particular targets in project 2 have not been completed. Not even 1% of it has gotten completed. You know what is the issue? The issue is of funding by the government. This is one. The second one is, even if they have been funded, the participation is less. For example, if one organization has to initiate the project, right, detailed project report has to be submitted, how the optical fiber networks will be laid out, right? What will be the length of it? Who are the people working? Who has the contract for that particular space? And how much funding has to be done? Who is going to review the whole project, right? The timeline for its establishment, nothing is in place. So there is no DPR at many places, right? Even if it is there, the institutions which are going to work, they are not in place. They are in paper, only in paper. So implementing agencies are non-existent, right? Now, there are two types of organizations working. One are private bodies and other one is the PSUs working. Both are not efficiently working. This is the evaluation, because had they been working, the digitization process in rural India would have gone far ahead by now. All right. So the roadblocks, as I mentioned, are the delay because of these projects. Right of way issue. The right of way that, as I just mentioned, it is the legal right to grant or to have a passage along a specific route, right? So this right of way is being challenged by Forest Department, being challenged by the highway authorities, challenged by railways. Why? Because one cannot have the right of way across the railway track. This has to be dug up. Railway will object to it. Forest Department will object because that could be a core area, right, for the animals to live, right? Similarly, the National Highway Authority will also object to it, right? You can dig up district roads and the rural roads, but National Highway will definitely object to it. So because of all this, the whole project gets delayed. The whole project of digitization in rural areas gets delayed, right? So these are important things. Now, there are other issues also, technical issues. For example, linear architecture. Now, if we are providing only one important fiber, and this further leads to decentralization in the whole block area, in the whole of gram panchayats in the particular area. What will happen if this connection is broken? The whole connection beyond this will get isolated, and it will take a while for it to get repaired also. So this is the linear architecture we are talking of, right? Also, the uptime gets reduced. What is uptime? Uptime means the time up to which the whole system, networking, computer system are functional. It gets reduced, right? So these are the challenges. And what is the way out? One particular way out is planning in advance. What is happening right now is we are planning and then execution gets delayed. If we plan in advance, execution gets faster, right? So this is one of it. The other way out is having digital literacy for people. Now, once the infrastructure is in place, we cannot start making people literate right then. Literacy has to spread right now, so that as the infrastructure spreads, people start to use it. So these are certain facets of the BharatNet project, right? Now, when a question is asked, a simple question like this can be asked: what is BharatNet project? Analyze its utility in India, right? So, as I discussed the various components of this project, I discussed not only the mission, the three components of it, I also discussed the Digital India initiative, right? The three components of Digital India, right? One is infrastructure creation, the second one is services provision, and the third one is digital literacy, right? So three components. All your answer can be framed on this, and you can give updates about this initiative as well, the BharatNet project. What is the impediment right now? And you can also mention what is the status and how it can be overcome. For example, right of way is an important issue, right? Similarly, the other issue is with institutions. We don't have institutions, we don't have DPR, and we don't have even funds availability. And that is why it is in news. It is in news because the government is now putting funds so that they may be thrust. Money will drive the whole system. So this is what the article is about. And I would like you to take 1 minute to think about the article, the various facets of this article, the way it has been put, what we have discussed in the separate sheet here, right? And then note down in next 1 minute what are the various components, right? So three components of this were: first, digital connectivity to rural India, non-discriminatory manner of giving it by various organizations running, proliferation, and then three segments of the Digital India initiative, right? This is how the article gets completed. And this was and here we come to the end of the featured news for today. Thank you. Do watch the second video on the rest of the articles of the Gazette discussion.